Welcome to this presentation on forensic examinations and the role of OPG. We'll look at what forensic examinations are, the legal framework, who can provide a decision to consent, whether that's fully or partially or not to consent, and how OPG ensures rights are protected while supporting necessary investigations. We begin by acknowledging the traditional custodians of the lands across Queensland. We pay respect to elders past, present and emerging, and recognise their continuing connection to land, waters and culture. This session will cover why forensic examinations matter, the legal framework, what they involve and examples, decision-making ability, who can provide a decision to consent, OPG's role in this space, and the safeguards that protect people's rights. Forensic examinations matter because they can be critical in police investigations and prosecutions, especially where an adult may be the victim of a crime. They also support justice outcomes for victims and may sometimes be needed for other legal reasons, such as paternity testing. But because they involve invasive procedures, we must always balance the need for evidence with protecting the adult's rights and dignity. Forensic examinations sit within a broad legislative framework. Key laws include the Guardianship and Administration Act 2000, the Public Guardian Act 2014, and the Powers of Attorney Act 1998. The Human Rights Act 2019 is also essential, as well as international instruments like the UN Convention on the Rights of Persons with Disabilities and the Universal Declaration of Human Rights. A forensic examination is not a healthcare matter. Legally, it is defined as a medical or dental procedure carried out for forensic purposes. This may involve collecting evidence for a police investigation or other legal processes. This is often requested when the adult is believed to be a victim of crime. The legal definition specifically excludes actions taken for the purpose of gathering evidence related to the adult being suspected of committing a criminal offence. The important distinction is that it is not about treating or maintaining health, but about forensic or legal purposes. Examples of forensic examinations include a medical exam to document injuries after an alleged assault, taking DNA swabs, or collecting other samples. It may involve dental impressions, fingerprinting for identification purposes, or DNA testing for paternity or other legal disputes. Decision-making ability is defined in the Guardianship and Administrative Act 2000. It means the ability to understand a decision, make it freely, and communicate it. It is both decision-specific and time-specific. Adults are always presumed to have decision-making ability unless there is evidence to the contrary. A decision to consent or not consent to forensic examinations depends on the adult's ability. If the adult has decision-making ability, they can provide a decision to consent or not consent themselves. If not, a guardian or attorney appointed for all personal matters can provide a decision to consent. Just because a guardian is appointed for some personal matters, such as accommodation or service provision or healthcare matters, does not mean that the person does not have the ability to decide to consent to a forensic examination themselves. The public guardian also has specific authority under Section 38 of the Public Guardian Act 2014. Here is a common example scenario for when an adult themselves may be able to decide to consent to a forensic examination. When a person requires a forensic examination and they have a disability, or it is known they have a guardian, hospitals often assume the person automatically lacks the capacity to decide to consent to the procedure. However, through discussion, it may become evident that the person understands they were a victim of crime, recognize that the procedure is invasive, and is aware that it could help collect evidence for a police investigation. If the person has no objections to the procedure, there is no guardian appointed for all personal matters, all being very important, and the doctor acknowledges that this is not a healthcare decision. It is often realised that the person can provide a decision to consent directly. If the adult doesn't have capacity or cannot be supported to make the decision, the OPG's role is to determine if we have the legal authority to make the decision or if it rests with a private guardian or attorney. We always consider the adult's views, wishes, and preferences when making a decision to consent or not to consent. Our role is to make sure the process of the decision to consent protects the adult's rights and dignity while balancing investigative needs with our obligations under the Human Rights Act 2019. When a forensic examination request comes in, we need several pieces of information. First, who has the legal authority? Then, details about the adult's circumstances and their decision-making ability. We also need details about the procedure itself, what it involves, risks, and benefits. If the adult's views and wishes are known, these must be documented. And we need the reason for the request, whether it's an alleged assault, paternity test, or another matter. There are strong safeguards around forensic examinations. A decision of consent is always required and never automatic. The adult's rights, dignity, and wishes must always be prioritised. The Human Rights Act 2019 applies directly, and decisions must always be the least restrictive option available and focused on protecting rights. For more information or to seek advice, you can contact the Office of the Public Guardian. General inquiries can be made by phone or email. Health professionals can use our dedicated consent line, and a wide range of fact sheets and resources are available on our website. Thank you for taking the time to learn about OPG and forensic examination. If you'd like more information or to raise a concern, please contact the Office of the Public Guardian. You can reach us by phone, email, or through our website, and complaints can be made directly to our complaints team. We're here to help.